Shabbat Shalom, which means the peace of the Shabbat or Sabbath, but really it means the satisfaction of the Sabbath. The Sabbath is the seventh day. And the seventh day is the day which is held and protected by the Jewish nation from the time that it was restored to them until now. This is only part of the function that Jehovah has given to them in this world. To make sure that certain things that are important to Jehovah are evident to anyone who cares to look, or alternatively, who is inspired by Jehovah to look and to understand. So today is the seventh day. And as the seventh day, it is a barrier between our thoughts and the thoughts of Jehovah. It is a barrier between what we want to achieve and to do with the time and the days that he so graciously gives us, and what he wants us to do, and the purpose for which he prepared us. Full stop. In any case, this seventh day is not like any other of the 6 days of the week dedicated to service and work, but rather it's dedicated to looking and appreciating and listening and what we look at and what we appreciate is often called the creation of Elohim, or the creation of Jehovah. And that creation is identified in 6 days. Amazingly, wonderfully, and incredibly beautiful poetic drama explained in the very opening verses of the book of Bereshit. So, we are to spend this day not cooking, not toiling, not fretting, not planning what we're going to do. And sometimes not even resting. We are to spend this day appreciating, looking deeply into the wonders of what he has made. But then there is one other thing that we can do, and that is listen to the decontaminated reading of his instructions and of his acts, which we find in the Mikra. The Mikra was the ancient Hebrew word which identified what is now called the Torah, the Navim, and the Ketuvim, the Tanakh, or which some like to call the Bible. In a conversation with Jehovah, in which I expressed my dislike of some of the terms used to describe his word, he suggested through Yeshua that I refer to it as the acts of Jehovah, and that I referred to the smaller book as the acts of Yeshua. And I liked that. And so often you'll see that I will refer to the acts of Jehovah and the acts of Yeshua. So we are given a privilege to appreciate the creation of Jehovah and also to listen to the acts of Jehovah and the acts of Joshua on this day. This we should prefer to do. And this we should enjoy doing. Because appreciating and listening is a very enjoyable experience. And we shouldn't hold back from giving thanks and showing our appreciation on this day and discussing with one another the great and amazing things that Jehovah has done. And being astonished at the incredible act of courage, devotion and love of Joshua. Before I started this live broadcast, I was in conversation with Jehovah through the decontaminating wind which he gives to us. So I'm not special if I desire to be a citizen of the imperial administration, the kingdom of priests which Jehovah is establishing and will reveal when he decides to make his living Son present and visible to the kings and nations that remain on this planet. And that day will come suddenly. So he has given to us a decontaminating wind through which we can communicate in both directions with Joshua, our Lord. And through Joshua, we can present our petitions to our Father, to his expressive face. And it is not that we cannot present our petitions, our cries for help, really, our urgent cries, directly to our Father. that we can do at any time. But he has chosen to answer us through his Son and through the decontaminating wind, which is in the name of his Son. Because we need to learn unity. And we need to understand oneness and the chain of communication which he has established to unite us all. And that chain of communication is through one Spirit, through one Son and Lord of us all, to the unique and universal Father of us all. So, today, besides being the seventh day, the barrier between what we want to think and do and what Jehovah is thinking and has done and is doing, and what your Joshua has done and is doing. It is also the day of coverings, Yom Kapharim. On this day, an incredible act of grace is not only confirmed, but dramatically presented to our astonished eyes. Full stop. I could not believe that Jehovah could just wipe away all the shortcomings, all the shortcuts, all the offcuts that we have chopped out of his instructions, the things that we have omitted to do and the things that we have committed ourselves to do, which are not according to his instructions. All the alternatives that we want to do, the twisting away from his path, his steps, and the breaking step with him, which is disconcerting when you're marching together to have somebody go at a different pace. I couldn't believe that he could just brush that all away, wipe it all away, that he could call something that was scarlet red white, that he could remove it as far as the east is from the west from us, that he could say to us, come back to me and let's turn over a new leaf every day. I could not believe that. I thought that I had to do penance, that I had to suffer, that I had to gain merit through suffering, or gain merit through doing what was right in order for our Father to remove from me the stain that was on me. But that is not the case. I want to be like our Father. I want my chest to be like his chest. I want my breathing and digesting blood being to be an example of how he operates in this world. I want my wealth, or lack of it, or my property, or lack of it, or my life to exemplify his ideals, attitudes, approaches, goals, desires. That's what I want. That's what I love. And that seems to be enough for our Father to extend this gracious act towards me and to help me to achieve that specific goal for my whole life. And to confirm that that unbelievable thing is what he wants, he created his son, Joshua, to exemplify all those traits, to encourage all of us who think that we're not worthy, and we are not worthy. But just because we're not worthy doesn't mean we cannot keep trying. And not only to encourage us, but to give us, through steadfast application and obedience to his instructions, which he receives from our Father, and communicate to us through the decontaminating wind which he places in us. Through those means, he will give us the victory. So today is an amazing day, an amazing evening and morning where I abase myself, I humble myself, I get down and lay flat on the ground with my face to the ground and recall that I am but from the soil. I am like the wriggling worm or the little beetle that I might see in the grass, and which I might step on while I'm going about my business. Why would I think that I am anything else? Why would I become arrogant? Instead, all day let me remember to be low in my wind that permeates my body. And let me remember that my chest cavity must be satisfied only with what Jehovah will, completely satisfied, and not seeking any alternatives or putting a mask over my face while I contemplate doing other things. It is only a day, but at the end of that day, I want to understand better my relationship through the decontaminating wind with Joshua and with our Father Yahweh every year. If you, like me, who've been scarred by the religions of this world. It is good to know that our Father does not want a religious people. He wants people who want a real relationship with his expressive face and who are willing to give everything that they have to have such a relationship, just like Joshua, our Lord and champion, did and showed us. Well, I had intended to just draw attention to Abraham, our father, because Abraham was brought out of Ur of the Chaldees by his father, Terach. And Ur was an ancient city in the kingdom of Babylon. Now, the kingdom of Babylon was first established by Nimrod. And it says that Nimrod was a mighty hunter to the expressive face of Jehovah. And that concrete idea should conjure up the image of some boastful, prideful, arrogant man who will not humble himself before his great creator and would come before Jehovah boasting of all that he had achieved and all that he had done and how many kings he had conquered and how many cities he had taken. And so when Nimrod did this, he created a centralizing power. And the kingdom of Babylon has been a centralizing power ever since. And the people ruled by that king have been schooled in accepting tyranny and behaving tyrannically. And this is why Terach took his family out and went to the town established by his son, Nahor, Haran. But it was not enough for Jehovah that Terach had taken his family away from these tyrannical people. He wanted his true servants to truly come out of Babylon. And only Abraham was willing to listen. And Jehovah said to him, "Walk away from your family, from the land in which you were born, from the house in which you were raised, and walk to yourself. Walk to yourself. Don't be a sheep following the sheeple. Don't be a person who has to have a tyrant deciding everything for him. Be a person who has only one king and that is Jehovah. And so it's very interesting that the one who deserves to be king and emperor, and before whom the boastful Nimrod spoke unwisely, turned away from these people, looking for those who would be obedient to him and walk in a singular way, devoted to him. And Abraham was such a man. And as he set out, his nephew decided he was going to cast in his lot with him. And so they set out together, walking to themselves according to their relationship with Jehovah. So when Jehovah says, as he does, "Come out of Babylon, my people," you can understand that he is referring to the same action that Abraham took when he came out of Babylon, all the way out, and walked to himself under our Creator Jehovah.